Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. We are so happy to have you wherever you are in the world. Happy Valentine's Day. Whether you have a special someone or you're by yourself, remember self-care, self-love. Take care of yourself first, and then the rest will emanate to be beautiful, to help other people that you know and across the world. Our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. It's episode 106. That means we've been doing this show for over 2 years. Thank you so much for your support and for all of your comments and feedback over the last 2 years. We couldn't do it without you. Let's welcome our expert panelists around the world so we can get the show started. Joining us from the great state of Texas, it's the international award-winning author, baker, sewer, gardener. I could go on and on. It's DIANN Floyd BOEHM. Hello.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. I'm sure you've created some kind of craft or you've baked something. What have you got going for Valentine's Day?
I made all my young adults, each one of them and their entire family, Valentine placemats and got them mailed off to them. I quilted them.
Oh, she quilted them. I love it. How many did you actually have to make?
About 14.
Do you have any there that we can see?
Downstairs, sorry.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing, DIANN. Round of applause to you. You are
Thank
superwoman over there.
And strawberry bread.
I love it. I can't wait to get out and see you sometime. It's fabulous. You are quite the role model and inspiration. So thank you for that.
You're so kind. I fake it really well.
No, you're great at it. Let's welcome also the beautiful, extremely talented international global broadcaster, royal photographer, expert on everything royal. It's HELENA CHARD. Welcome.
Hi, ladies. So
Hi.
lovely to see you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
You put us
Valentine's
to
Day to you as
shame,
well. Where are you joining us
Diane.
from? It looks like a kind of a Sleepy Hollow kind of
Yeah,
place.
I'm having a break. I'm just feeling magical. I'm hugging the trees. They're giving me all the love I need at the moment.
Well,
Uh,
that's a really good point because hugging trees, I think, really brings out something in us. And also surrounding yourself, having your environment be something that's conducive to bringing out positivity makes a difference as well.
Absolutely.
This is true.
Absolutely.
That's why Helen is our walker. Rain or
Yeah,
shine.
I am a walker, rain or shine. I love it. I've hugged trees since I was, since I was about 3. Really, it was part of my life. It still
Aw,
is, so I love it.
I love
Trees,
that.
trees are something very special. It's incredible when you just look at them and think about what they've withstood over time. No complaining, no whining. They just
And
stand tall and proud.
and they connect to each other, don't they, by their roots? And that's the amazing thing. They talk to each other. It's
They
just
really do.
incredible.
And I think we're going to bring out Simon just a second. But I think what else is interesting about trees, I see it here where I'm in Florida, is that the roots get so big that it breaks up the sidewalk or breaks up the paths that people are walking on. And people complain. I'm thinking, hey, they were here first. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
who are we? They were here first. So let's bring out our dear friend. I think of him as Mr. Positivity. He's always dressed to the nines, and he's got expertise in so many areas. He's referred a few people, one of whom we just interviewed, the lovely Sally James. Let's bring out the international award-winning chef, the man who knows everything about smoked salmon and fisheries across the world, Simon McDonald. Hello.
Hello, happy Valentine's Day to everybody all over the world. We should be saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and so on. We cover the world. We are global. So, yeah,
Absolutely. And you're here
lovely
with
to be
3
back.
ladies today. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I was just thinking what Helena was talking about tree hugging there, and if I was to go out tree hugging today, I would get very wet. It's that kind of a day again.
It is.
Yes, the
Rain.
tide
It's
the
a
tide never comes in here; it only comes down.
Well, you know what
I
I'm
think I
wondering?
think
We have several team members who live in the Seattle, Washington area. And actually, I had family who lived in Tacoma for a while, and we go out and visit. And apparently, the suicide rate is higher there because of the weather. I don't know if it's still accurate or not, but do you feel kind of down and blue when it's raining for more than a day or two?
No, if it stops raining, I get a shock. It's been that kind of a winter here. It's been one storm after another. The UK's taken a real pasting with it this year. So I don't know. Is it climate change? Is it global warming? I don't know about the warming part of it, but it's global anyway. So there we are.
How about either of the two lovely ladies? Do you feel your mood changes when it's raining or snowing, or you're pretty much the same regardless of the weather?
Helen?
I love the sunshine. I really love the sunshine. I love being able to go for a coffee and sitting outside a cafe. Simplicity, I love it. I really do. But I put up with the rain. We don't have in London. We don't have as much rain as say Simon in Scotland. I think that he probably gets a huge amount, but we have enough, and it's cold enough. I think we're expecting it to be at least -7 next week. -7 to -10.
Anything with a minus
Woohoo!
in it, just I don't know, I don't like
We'll
it.
get the -10 bit then if you're getting minus.
Oh my stars!
No,
Oh my stars! If it is, if I am iced in for like, or if it's like really cold and I'm inside for 2 days, I'm like going nuts because I'm going to be outside in the sun. I'm going to be gardening or like Helena walking. I want to enjoy the sunshine and Dr. JACALYN, you're right about Seattle. It's very much known for that, and I had family there as well. And in the colleges, they tell kids to put in sunlights in their college dorms so they don't get so depressed, because so many kids come from all over, right, the country, and then they're in shock because they haven't ever experienced that kind of weather before.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. Yesterday when I was driving to teach exercise class, it was 71. That's what it had on the car for the temperature. And there was a little bit of a cool breeze, and people, seriously, they were bundled up. I saw people with hoods and scarves. It was a little chilly, I'll be honest with you. I did have a little jacket on, but I thought, wow, we're getting crazy now. Definitely getting
Uh,
Yeah. I'd love to see how they manage
so
here. I
funny.
mean, a couple of days ago, I mean, it was lovely, beautiful sunshine here, but the air temperature was down around about zero. So
Wow.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it's lulled you into a false sense of security to go outside and think, "Yippee, this is great!" Take the jacket off and say, "Oh, heck, what have I done?"
Well, I'm just going to put it out there to all three of you that you could move to the great state of Florida where it seems to be warm most of the time. So just saying.
But then
Yeah,
they'd miss all that beautiful spring in their country.
That's true. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's
I'm over spring, but but I know
we were waiting.
we have two beautiful people here who have stories to present. So Diane and I can listen and become educated and then just give our 2 cents. So thank you. I don't want to take up any more time from you. Helena, we're going to go with you first. What's going on there?
Okay.
What are you covering today?
Today I'm just going to have a few different stories. So I'll have a little bit of royal, of course, as always, and a little bit of history and a little bit of pop, I guess. So just a little bit of all-round news. But I'm going to start with the royal side of things. So Catherine, Princess of Wales, who we all wish really well, is on the mend, which is fabulous. She was seen leaving to go to Sandringham with her 3 children and husband, and it's half term. And obviously her children by her side and cheering her up, and she's actually doing well, and also she's able to visit King Charles, who's also on the Sandringham estate. He travels by helicopter to London. I think it's once a week at the moment for his I don't know if it's radiotherapy. I'm not 100% sure, but and it's just been lovely just to see them out and about. King Charles waving at people and smiling. I'm sure that they're inside going through, probably exhausted, but it's great to see them. And I have to say, we are missing them media-wise. We always had Catherine, Princess of Wales, on all the papers, etc. So she's really missed, and I think we're all raring for her to get back. So that's lovely. I think we've got a lovely picture, in fact, of I think the Prince and Princess of Wales. I'd just like to show, because it's Valentine's Day. It's a very relaxed photo. I love that photograph. And obviously that's the RNLI charity, and that's the charity that saves lives at sea, the Royal National Lifeboats. And that's really, really great. So wishing them well. And moving on, so a little bit of a funny one. This is a few days ago when we were a strange one, and it has opened my eyes to Amazon, I have to say. Naughty, naughty Amazon. So that King Charles has Buckingham Palace released a statement, and this was to do with they were absolutely furious over AI books which had been released about King Charles. 7 different books and a real sort of sham biogs, and these books have been released with also Amazon wonderful biographies of really, really high profiled writers, and they've just been obviously made in minutes, put out. Buck Powell and obviously everybody is sad. It's really quite intrusive and insensitive, and they are now looking into it legally. Amazon pulled them off the shelves, and they're now looking into it. But Amazon's so big. How can that happen? I just don't know. I mean, they really were. They're complete lies. It's completely made up, and obviously people buy into the royal family. There was names of authors put on the front of the covers, and obviously they're not real because they're AI. I think we have a picture as well of 3 of the books. Yeah, there we go. Behind Palace Walls, The Untold Secrets and Truth of the Cancer Diagnosis. I mean, awful. King Charles and George, is that George VI, I imagine? But, talking about tears and his fears and ascending the throne. I mean, what a load of nonsense. But who knows, you see? And this is like really, well, I just find it a time that is quite scary, isn't it? How AI can just push things out. It's almost like, we need some rules in place to stop this, to stop everything that's going to cause a lot of problems. But anyway, so moving on, as I said, King Charles is doing well. We'll obviously be seeing his family. He's travelling to London to have his radiotherapy, so I believe. And I would like to show another photograph as well of King Charles and Queen Camilla, because it's Valentine's Day and it's just a fun, happy photograph of them jolly. And that's what we want to see. We want kindness and we want joy. Absolutely. So lovely showing that. Another thing as well, which is great, and it makes me think, goodness me, we really need to go out with our I forget what you call it, what the detectorists. We have to all be detectorists and go and find treasures and things like that. One, it's history, which I absolutely love, but two, it can bring in money. So some rare coins have been unearthed. They were buried in Braintree in Essex, and it was at 1066, the Battle of Hastings time. They're expected to sell next week at auction for something like 180,000. There's 122 Anglo-Saxon pennies, and it's part of a hoard, I think, of 144. But found by these two detectorists in 2019 and 2020, and there was one silver coin that was actually only 4 inches deep in the soil, which is amazing. Was somebody fighting in the battle 1066 and lost them all, and that's what happened? I don't know. Anyway, so we're waiting to hear how much they're going to go for. Some have been bought by a museum, which is great, but the rest the profits actually go to the landowners and also the detectorists. So I'm interested in that story. Good luck to them. Moving on now, what other stories do we have? I think we will talk about I'm going to talk about Kylie Minogue, our great Kylie Minogue. And she always says that the UK, it's home from home. So she treats the UK like it's her place. She's obviously Australian, but she spent so much time here. Now, she has done so well. I mean, I have to say, she always looks so great. She's so kind. She's so perky. I wouldn't even like to go through all her number ones, etc., all over the world. But she is now going to be presented with the Brits Global Icon Award. Now, that is the top award, the highest accolade, and it's been given to various people. I don't know, Elton John, I think, and people, various people. But she is so excited. And here in the UK, she's had 7 UK number one singles. She's had 9 UK number one albums, and also her Padam that came out has done really well. And she's been going for over 30 years, and I just think she never really changes. Everything's positive around her. She's a joy, isn't she? And I know that we saw her when she was presented her Grammy, which was not so long ago. I think that was in the States, was it a week ago or something? And there's a lovely shot of the behind the scenes where she finds out she's actually going to win her second Grammy for Padam. I don't know if we've got it. She's just in her dressing room. She's with her little, dressing robe on. And it's so lovely to see her excited, still now, 30-something years later. She just is so happy to win things. And it's lovely not to lose that fun side. Do we have the little video? It'd be great to show it if we do have.
2-time
I just thought it was a little bit of fun. It's just so lovely to see. There were more little videos as well, but I just thought that sort of gives that feeling. And moving on as well, around the time of these rare coins, in fact, being buried in 1066, there's something called the Ceremony of the Word, and the Tower of London. It's like a small village, and lots of people live on site. It's absolutely beautiful. It was built, I think, the actual tower in 1070s, so not that far away. And we actually have it. What made me think about it is there's this lovely boy. He's known as Frank the Soldier, and his father actually puts out videos of him. He is such an enthusiast. He loves soldiers. He's obviously going to be part of the army. I don't know what he'll be, which regiment. But there's a lovely clip of him interacting with 2 Scots guards, and this actually is at the Tower of London. Now, just a little bit about it. There's lots of history and traditions in the Tower of London, and years ago, I think the King walked in and he realised that there was no security, so they decided to. I think it's a ceremony of the word and ceremony of the keys, but this is about ceremony of the word. So roughly between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning, there are lots of people that live on site, but they have to come and go. Just before 3 p.m., and this is where Frank the Soldier, this is the little video you'll see shortly, came, and he's greeted by the Scots Guards, and it's a special password that's changed over at roughly 3 p.m. each day. And a little bit also about the Tower of London. I mean, it's the most amazing place. You know, it's been a prison. It's been a zoo. I mean, Queen Victoria's animals just used to parade around. It's been a royal mint, and there's far more things. So there's so much history involved with it. But I just think it's just fun, and basically you see him and the Scots Guards, and they're going to meet the chief yeoman to hand over a small leather pouch, and in that is the password, and everybody on site has to know that password. If they don't have the password, they cannot get in, and this is a tradition from all those years ago, which I think is amazing. Shall we show the shall we show the clip? It's very sweet, and there's quite a few of him in these different outfits, but this is him with the Scots Guards.
How are you? Good? Looking very smart today. Culture guards though. Quite Scots guards. Your shoes looking lovely and as well actually, so yeah, well turned down. Perfect, thank you. Right, we'll pick up the match.
I just think it's so sweet, isn't it? So that's Frank the Soldier, and he was so excited when he was saluted. But you know, obviously that's the Tower of London, fabulous. There's so much you can see there. It's a medieval palace, and of course, That's where the royal jewels are kept. But just before 3 o'clock, it's a great thing that you can walk with the soldiers and just see the ceremony of the word. That's my news for today, folks. A little bit of everything I wanted to give you. And
I loved it. I love how he's kind of in a sprint there for some time. His little legs were just flying.
He's so sweet. He has all these wonderful outfits, and some of the guards, they're not allowed to really interact, but you see that they do on a lot of occasions with him. But I'd love to. I'm going to monitor him as he gets older. He's definitely going to be a soldier, without a doubt.
And at the end, that little girl cuts right in front of him. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, he's an unordained mascot for the regiment, I think, that lad as well. What a character.
Oh,
Makes a personality.
It's great, isn't it? So there we are.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Catherine's doing better. That's wonderful news. I hope people start talking about it on the news over here. And
I know I'm not going to go into what's going on over there, but it's just it's an odd one, isn't it? Because of obviously the illness of our top royals, it's sort of allowed. It's created this little void that people are taking opportunities of. I suppose you can't blame people, but there we are. But onwards and upwards, people are doing well. And everything continues.
Huge problem, and I can't believe that those books were released without people.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah. I was interested in your thoughts on that, actually, because to think that AI can literally write the book in minutes and it's quickly done, it's quickly put out. There's no one actually checking anything, which is bizarre. I really don't get it. But can you imagine if we all had this happening? I mean, I was talking to someone, and there's been lots of political figures that have had AI. They've had their heads put on different people, and they've been talking with their voices, but it's not them. I mean, where are we? This is like the beginning of something. I don't know what to think. I mean, I want to think, wow, this is great. It's going to take us places. But I actually see there's a lot of darkness here that sort of should be wiped out.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting sort of scenario there if one of these books actually sort of got through the net and won a top of award. And when it came to the award ceremony, who would go up?
Yeah, right.
The robot, tink, 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 up the steps. I don't know.
I just read this morning, I forget where I read it, but Gen Zers who were surveyed, I don't know how they were surveyed, and they were surveyed and said they learn more from robots than they do from their own bosses.
Wow,
that's something.
I think they need to get out a bit more. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I can see that, but it just goes to show, because it's if you have lots of robots, you can even if you go into like a big corporation, you have those little robots that can greet you, and they have like information on the face, and you can just press, and they do this, and they take a photo of you, and you go in, and it's. I don't know. It's clever, but it's not good. And it also, I think it highlights that people within big corporations have to pull their socks up and really get to know their staff and work with them and create a really, a kind, happy environment, because people are just getting on with their own stuff. And, as we know, an MD running a business, the people that are going to do well are the people that know every single person that works for them, has an idea and communicates with them. It's very rare though now, hey? Anyway, I'm going on to something else.
Yeah, it's a bit like 1984, the book, which actually was written not that far from here on the top end of the Isle of Jura. I can almost see it from that. So, yes, it's scary to think what can evolve from all this.
I think it's the beginning of a lot of new legislation that's going to be coming up at some point.
That's what I was going to say.
Written by AI.
There is a committee looking into legislation for AI and other things. So you're absolutely right, Dr. JACALYN.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to go into I'm sure it's going to ask a lot of big spokespersons, but I've been watching this series on Amazon Prime. It's 007, The Road to a Million, I think. And the the host of the show is Brian Cox, and I believe he has been an actor for 62 years. He's fabulous.
Oh.
And they actually have 9 couples who are taken to various places where the James Bond films were filmed, like underwater sea wreckage, and they have to retrieve the case. When they retrieve the case, they open it up and they press a button, and you hear Brian Cox asking a question, and then there's 3 answers, and depending on, but they have to go all over the world to answer these questions. And I know 007, the James Bond movies were really big over there in the UK as they are here. Everybody seems to identify it or imagine they're with one of the Bond guys or one of the Bond girls. Or so check it out. Season 1 is on Amazon Prime.
Brilliant. So
007.
just, what was the name of it again, Jacqueline? I had a little bit of a funny.
007.
Yeah.
The Road to a Million, I think, is it.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
And if
I
they
will
want to
look
send me
that
a check, you can find it where I'm on the website, USAGlobalTV.com. Okay, sorry, I digress. Simon, we're on to you. What are you going to share with us today?
Well, we're now into the new series of Scottish heroes and villains. Well, today, the person I'm chatting about is undoubtedly and most definitely a hero of the highest order. Today, I'm talking about Lord Lovat, who was famed for the Lovat Scouts and many of his escapades during World War II. Very charismatic character, and he was regarded as having the looks of a film star as well. I mean, a remarkable person, but there's a connection here somewhere. So Brigadier Simon Christopher Joseph Fraser is the 15th Lord Lovat, DSO, MC, TD, JP, DL, born the 9th of July 1911 and died on the 16th of March 1995. Now, he was a prominent British commander during the Second World War and the 24th chief of the Clan Fraser of Lovat, and known familiarly as try another word, Simon. Familiarly, whatever, as Shimmy Lovat, which is an anglicised version of his name in the Scottish Gaelic. His clan refers to him generally as MacShimmy. So Shimmy is the Gaelic for Simon, which is his Gaelic patronym. So during Operation Overlord, he led the Special Service Brigade at Sword Beach and to successfully capture Pegasus Bridge, accompanied by his piper, Bill Millen. And Bill Millen was, if Lord Lovat was there, Bill would be there as well. Unfortunately, Bill died just recently as well, but he was also an amazing character. Maybe do a bit about him another time. So Lord Lovat, or Simon Fraser, he was born at his ancestral home of Beaufort Castle near Bewley in Inverness-shire, just north of Inverness. And he was the son of Simon Fraser, who was 14th Lord Lovat, and Laura, daughter of Thomas Lister, 4th Baron of Ribblesdale. So after being educated at Ampleforth College, where he was a member of the Officer Training Corps, and Magdalen College in Oxford, where he joined the University Cavalry Squadron, Fraser was commissioned as a second lieutenant in Lovat Scouts, which is a territorial army unit at that time in 1930. And he transferred to the regular army while still a second lieutenant, joining the Scots Guards in 1931. The following year, Lovat Fraser, whatever you prefer to call him, succeeded his father to become the 15th Lord Lovat and the 25th Chief of the Clan Fraser. He was promoted to lieutenant in August 1934, and then Lovat resigned his regular commission as a lieutenant in 1937, then transferring to the Supplementary Reserve of Officers. He married Rosamond Broughton, who's the daughter of Sir Henry John Delves Broughton, on the 10th of October 1938, with whom he had 6 children. Lord and Lady Lovat, they lived at Beaufort Castle, of course, which is the ancestral home. So in June 1939, just months before the Second World War, Lord Lovat also resigned his reserve commission, and in July, however, as war approached, he was mobilised as a captain in the Lovat Scouts, which is effectively the family regiment. So in 1940, together with his Stirling cousins and friends, including Sir Donald Cameron of Lochiel, who was also a great friend of my father, as was, of course, Lord Lovat, And Lovat, well, he planned to create a new unorthodox group of shock fighters, or special forces as we would call them today, who would combine sea, air and land attacks using surprise as a key component. It was essential to use volunteers only, and generally these volunteers were actually picked from people who were absolute crack shots as well, and used as snipers very often. A lot of the men were actually gamekeepers and stalkers and gillies from his estates. So crucial to the plan was the personal blessing of Sir Winston Churchill, which they duly obtained. So Lovat was personally involved in the training of the commando troops on the west coast of Scotland near Fort William, Achnacarry Castle, and then later at Inverislet Castle, Loch Islet, which is just about where I used to live. Though he was eventually attached to and led No. 4 Commando. On the 3rd of March 1941, Numbers 3 and 4 Commando launched Operation Claymore, which was a raid on the German-occupied Lofoten Islands. And in the successful raid, the commandos destroyed fish oil factories, petrol pumps and dumps, and 11 ships. They also seized encryption equipment and code books. As well, the commandos captured 216 German troops. 315 Norwegians then chose to accompany the commandos back to Britain afterwards. My father, at the time, who was serving as an officer in the Lovat Scouts, took part in this raid with Lord Lovat in No. 4 Commando. As a temporary major, Lord Lovat commanded 100 men of No. 4 Commando and a 50-man detachment from the Canadian Carleton and York Regiment in a raid on the French coastal village of Hardladot, and that was in April. So for this action, he was awarded the Military Cross on the 7th of July 1942. Lord Lovat became an acting lieutenant colonel in 1942 and was then appointed the commanding officer of No. 4 Commando, leading them in a successful component of the abortive Dieppe raid, which was Operation Jubilee on the 19th of August. His commandos attacked and destroyed a battery of 6 150mm guns, and Lovat was awarded the Distinguished Service Order of the DSO. The raid as a whole was a disastrous failure, with over 4,000 casualties sustained, predominantly Canadian. Yet No. 4 Commando captured its objective, the only successful part of the operation, and most of Lovat's men returned safely to Britain. According to Hilary Saunders, the official biographer of the commandos, the men were to arouse such a passion of hate and fear in the hearts of their enemies that first von Rundstedt and then Hitler himself in 1942 ordered their slaughter when captured, right down to the last man. Lovat had 100,000 Reichsmarks placed on his head, dead or alive, which is known then as the infamous Commando Order. In planning Operation Overlord in 1944, Lord Lovat was made brigadier and appointed the commander of the newly formed 1st Special Service Brigade. Lord Lovat's brigade was landed at Sword Beach during the invasion of Normandy on the 6th of June 1944. And Lord Lovat reputedly waded ashore in battle dress, contrary to the legend in the film of The Longest Day, which had him wearing a white jumper under his battle dress, with Lovat inscribed into the collar, while armed with a fully stocked Mannlicher Schoner Stutzen rifle, which is probably harking back to the Dieppe raid, where Lovat was armed with a model 1893 Steyr Mannlicher. The latter claim was disputed, however, because in some earlier pictures around 1942, he's seen with a bolt-action .30 Winchester Model 70 sporting rifle, which he actually used for deer stalking in his Highland estate. He preferred that. He was much more comfortable with it. It was a bit lighter than the service issue firearms. So Lord Lovat instructed his personal piper, Bill Millen, to pipe the commandos and himself ashore in defiance of specific orders not to allow such an action in battle. And when Private Millen demurred, citing that the regulations, he recalled later, Lovat had replied, but that's the English War Office. You and I are both Scottish, and that doesn't apply. So it was known that the Germans were not to shoot the piper, as it was considered that he was a total madman and harmless to the Germans themselves. So the hail of bullets, and Bill Millen got through there, didn't even get a hole in his bagpipes, much to the annoyance of some of the English forces that were nearby. Lovat's forces, well, they swiftly pressed on, Lovat himself advancing with parts of his brigade from Sword to Pegasus Bridge, which had been defiantly defended by men of the 2nd Battalion of the Ox and Bucks Light Infantry, who were the 6th Airborne Division. They'd landed earlier in the hours by glider. Lord Lovat's commandos arrived at a little past 1 p.m. at Pegasus Bridge, though the rendezvous time, as per the plan, was noon. It's a common misconception that they reached almost exactly on time, late by only 2.5 minutes. But upon reaching the rendezvous, Lord Lovat apologised profusely to Lieutenant Colonel Geoffrey Pinecoffin of the 7th Parachute Battalion. He went on to establish defensive positions around Ranville, east of the River Orne, and the bridges were relieved later in the day by elements of the British 3rd Infantry Division. During the Battle of Breville on the 12th of June, Lord Lovat was seriously wounded while observing an artillery bombardment by the 51st Highland Division. A stray shell fell short of its target and landed amongst the officers, killing Lieutenant Colonel A.P. Johnson, and he was the commanding officer of the 12th Parachute Battalion, and also seriously wounding Brigadier Hugh Kindersley of the 6th Air Landing Brigade. He was awarded the Légion d'Honneur and the Croix de Guerre by a grateful French 4th Republic. Lord Lovat, well, he was a stalwart of Inverness and Highland aristocracy. In 1942, he was appointed Deputy Lord Lieutenant of the county, and 2 years later also appointed as a Justice of the Peace. And Lord Lovat made a full recovery from his severe wounds he'd received in France, but he was unable to return to the army, so he transferred to the reserve in 1949. In early 1945, Churchill sent him to Moscow as his envoy in a parliamentary delegation to pay his respect to Stalin and the Presidium. And Churchill notes in the final volume of his biography of the Second World War that at the crucial meeting with Stalin and President Roosevelt at Yalta in 1945, when the boundaries of Europe were being discussed, Stalin kept coming back again and again in conversation to military questions. And Stalin said he had acquired a new interest in life, says Churchill, an interest in military affairs. He liked the young military figures like Lord Lovat, and Winston Churchill requested that then he became captain of the Honourable Corps of Gentlemen at Arms in the House of Lords. However, Lord Lovat declined the offer and in 1945 joined the government as a parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, becoming responsible for the functions of the Ministry of Economic Warfare when these were taken over by the Foreign Office, and resigning upon Winston Churchill's election defeat. So in 1946, he was made a Commander of the Venerable Order of St. John. His formal retirement from the army came on the 16th of June 1962, but he retained the honorary rank of Brigadier. So Lord Lovat's involvement in politics continued throughout his life. And in the House of Lords, where he spoke on Scottish affairs and served in the Inverness County Council as well for the next 42 years, where he pressed for modernisation and improvements. So he also devoted much of his time to the family estates, which was some 250,000 acres in the Highlands, and to the Fraser clan affairs, of course, as well, to which he was the chieftain. And he bred a pedigree herd of shorthorn cattle and was an international judge of cattle, travelling widely to Canada, America, Latin America, and to Australia in that regard. He lectured in agronomy and loved racing as well. He was chieftain of the Lovat Shinty Club. Shinty is a bit like hockey without the rules. I mean, it's a pretty savage game. So the Shinty is actually quite appropriate to Lord Lovat's past. So the local Shinty team, which bears his family name, of course, is the Lovat Shinty Club, and it still goes today. So Lord Lovat actually experienced a great deal of sadness in his final years. Two of his sons predeceased him in accidents within days of each other. Then in 1994, a year before his death, the family traditional residence of Beaufort Castle had to be sold by his eldest son, another Simon Fraser, to pay inheritance taxes. Lord Lovat's second son, Kim, played the pipes at Lord Lovat's funeral. Lord Lovat was my godfather. There we are.
Oh, Your godfather. That's amazing.
And that's where I got my name Simon,
Ah,
after Lord Lovat.
I was like, there's
So
another Simon.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you've got personal experience there and knowledge.
it was, you know, I was trying to sort of think, you know, for this week, who will I do? And I've got several victims lined up, shall we say, for heroes and villains of Scotland and so on. Then I suddenly thought, you know, it was just crossed my mind, Lord Lovat's my godfather. Let's do a piece on him. So there we are. So
I'm sure he's smiling from heaven.
he was quite a character, and you know, he was a remarkable person, but very good friends with my father and you know, and my mother as well. And they always spoke of him very fondly. And you know, I've met him obviously several times up until the time when he died. I was at his funeral, which was a very, very solemn affair, and Kim played the historical tune on the pipes, which is the Lord Lovat's Lament, which I don't think there was a dry eye in the place when he started piping that. It was just such an evocative piece of music. And that the Lord Lovat's lament, of what I recall, was written for a sort of great etc. grandfather around about 1795, 1796. So it stood the test of time, and it is you know, an incredible piece of music. It sort of jerks a tear to my eye just about every time I hear it as well. So that's him, just a remarkable man, and without a doubt, this one. Well, last week we were talking about Bonnie Prince Charlie, and it was question mark, hero or villain. But this one, definitely, undoubtedly, hero.
A hero. And have there been movies about him? Because I need to go watch them.
He does appear in, you know, or characters of him appear in numerous movies. Longest Day, of course, which is about Normandy landings, which is going to get aired quite a bit because this year is you know, going to be the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings, so that will be appearing quite often. And A Bridge Too Far as well, which was about Pegasus Bridge. Again, you know, he appears in that one with Bill playing the pipes all the way along. He was rarely ever seen without Bill Millen, and Bill Millen was he was a hardy character. The Germans said, "Don't shoot the piper," because he's and he's not going to do us any harm. He probably did more harm because he boosted the morale of everybody around him. But I mean, the bravery of that man was quite extraordinary, because I mean, he was marching ashore under hail of gunfire the whole time, and marching right up the beach, playing the pipes with no firearm himself. He couldn't shoot back. I mean, with bagpipes, okay, you could maybe cause some damage to the enemy's ears, but he didn't have a hand free to shoot back, so he just kept on going. But that's the kind of men that Lord Lovat inspired to carry on as well. My father was very proud to serve in that regiment.
I bet. I'm sure there's documentaries on him. I'm going to have to look that up.
I would imagine there will be. I haven't.
Yeah. And what a handsome man!
I know, really.
He was. He was. Yeah. I mean, no. I'm not going to go down.
So handsome.
That was him and his wife at Buckingham Palace.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Simon. Helena is not with us right now, so we thank her as well.
Sure.
Simon, you've referred one of your friends, and she's done a couple shows, I think, with DIANN, and she's coming on for Amazon Live on Friday. So I don't know why our names are all there, but there they are. Apparently, we'll all be there as well. So
an amazing author. I mean, she is just the most extraordinary writer. She, prolific. She's got over 1,000 poems. She's done about 7 books out. Exceptional writer is Catherine. And I heard you mention Sally James earlier there as well.
Sally was here on Friday for the Power of Etiquette and Manners with Philip Sykes in the British School of Excellence. So we were talking about, is etiquette really a dying breed, so to speak?
Actually, sadly, it does seem to be a little bit. But there we go. Must do a little bit of it on this day.
Yes, on this day. Go ahead.
Valentine's Day is really quite significant. So 1849, James Knox Polk became the first serving US president to have his photograph taken by Matthew Brady. So now, they're getting photographed all the time, but he was the very first one. 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, of course, in Chicago, where 7 gangsters were killed, allegedly on Al Capone's orders. For birthdays, well, we've got Carl Bernstein in 1944, so he's 80 today. Happy birthday. He's an American investigative reporter who covered the Watergate scandal for the Washington Post, and he was born in Washington, D.C. For deaths today, well, the obvious one, St. Valentine. He died giving birth to Valentine's Day. Some sources say it was in 270 AD, others say between 269 and 273. So AD 270, it must be about right. He'd be an old man today, just about as old as I feel.
You're young.
Keep it going. Flattery gets you everywhere.
Yes. Thank
No,
you,
age is just
Simon.
a number. Age is just a number. It just denotes the experience that you have in life. And
That's right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I think the number is 14 for the number of placemats that Diane has made by hand. Is that the right number, 14?
Yes, but with a sewing machine, of course.
Oh, of course. No.
My great-grandmother would have done it by hand.
Well, to me, sewing machine, I think it's all by hand, right? Your hands are there guiding, leading.
That's true, but, it's not what a real seamstress would say.
You are a real seamstress, Diane.
I
Get
only
the T-shirt.
I only have 2 sewing machines going.
My God.
At the same time.
Sometimes.
This is serious multitasking. Yeah.
Amazing.
One
You
of
should
them
do a
is
video on that,
writing,
Diane.
The other one's quilting.
Yeah, I have trouble with the coffee machine. Yeah.
I do too. I've been married almost 45 years, and I still cannot make my husband's coffee.
Oh my gosh. So I have a quick question for the two of you before we close out today, because I was reading something by Sir Anthony Hopkins and I thought it was really interesting. But basically, he goes through a litany of items. But one thing that really stood out to me was that we celebrate the marriage, the number of years, but we don't celebrate the love. What comes to mind when you hear that, Diane?
I really agree with that. So, yeah, my husband and I, we celebrate love all the time. So,
woo, yeah. Here. Excellent.
I think you have to.
Yeah, for each year of marriage, they've got a different name. There's the spoon, there's the ruby and the diamond and so on. I think yours, Dan, must be the long-term service medal.
I think it would be the opposite. I mean, he's like, he married basically a princess. Anyone who grows up with 5 brothers and you're the only girl, and your nickname's Princess, well, I'd say he had it pretty rough.
Well, it's that love that keeps you together and keeps that glow in your face. And your hair looks great, by the way.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I tell you, one of our secrets is we pray together. And I think that's very important, growing spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simon, what are your thoughts as a married man?
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. I wouldn't disagree. But,
it's Valentine's Day.
No better.
So, well, there you have it, Sir Anthony Hopkins. So thank you for another wonderful episode, 106. As I mentioned, over 2 years we've been doing this show, which is amazing.
Doesn't even seem like it.
Because before that as well, I mean, before we had this, this is the continuity of the was it the
Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich.
That's it, which was quite a mouthful. So UK news and culture is a heck of a lot easier to remember and say. I still can't remember the name of the original show. That just shows.
Well, now that original show morphed into this, and it morphed into the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show, which is coming up later today at 6 p.m. GMT time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, noon Central time. So stay tuned for that. That's episode 15 already with Ian Palm-Turner, Helena Chard, and Mr. Philip Sykes from the British School of Excellence is sponsor of that show. So we're going to close out now. Diane, anything that you want to share before we say adios for today?
I'm going to continue to say that my word is kindness, and for everyone to share a little bit of their kindness with someone else, whether a friend and or a stranger.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Simon?
Well, I've got to say, too late is when tomorrow was yesterday. You've got to think about that one as well.
I love that.
And I'll share that apparently there will be an upcoming show about iguanas in Florida. So do look for that as well. And
you can have one drop in on you. Yes.
I have pictures from the original, that were here, and they're not here, sadly, but they left some friends. So we'll be talking to them live. And Ann Scotland Show, Global Social Entrepreneurs, is coming up next. So please do stay tuned for that. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio. We are signing off for now. Anything else before we go? Going on?
Have a great day, everybody.
Diane, anything?
Really, really super time. Yes.
A great day.
All right. Have a great day.
If you drive, don't drink. But if you drink, invite me over.
All right. On that note, we're going. Bye-bye.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had the trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I find I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSc.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette. Building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.